you to take care of your health. That's our mission on today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Hello, I'm Carrie-Ann Smith. Coming up, why smoking is bad for your health.
It is said that half the persons who smoke on a long-term basis will end up dying from a smoking-related disease.
And diabetes and your eyes.
Anyone with diabetes is at risk of having diabetic retinopathy.
The full details all within our package, and there's more, so stay with us. A Wise Word is up next, followed by Tamara McHale at the news desk.
Don't make diseases spread. Wash your hands with soap and water instead. Wash them regular or use a hand sanitizer. Make sure the germs them dead. Touching your eyes or your mouth or your nose. Wash your hands before you do things like those. After you use the bathroom before preparing food, come on, wash your hand them clean. Cause it's so easy for germs multiply. You better wash your hands, it can save your own life. Wash your hand them clean, no bother spread no disease now. Hand washing is key.
A message from the Ministry of Health and PAHO.
Good day, I'm Tamara McHale and this is your JIS News for Thursday, November 5. The Agriculture Ministry is inviting more farmers to get involved in sweet potato production for export and local consumption. Portfolio Minister Derek Kelly says the administration is promoting the Beauregard variety for its potato planting project, which is showing promising results.
The rewards seem to be quite good. What has been reaped so far seems to be quite good and encouraging. I'm sure there are more farmers that will be interested all over the country to get involved in this very important program.
He was speaking during the tour of a plot of Beauregard sweet potato at JP Farms in St. Mary on Tuesday. It's one of the first trial plots established using clean seed plantlets from the Bode's research station. The project is part of the Agricultural Competitiveness Program. It's supported by the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, IICA, the Hunger Fund, and private interests such as Newport Ferson.
We have made contacts overseas with the Fresh Produce Consortium in the United Kingdom, and we got from that group, which is over 700 persons participating, the need for us to enter markets like that with Jamaican produce, and this is one more that will find its way there.
An integrated workforce development center and an eShore medical center were officially opened last week at the Montego Bay Free Zone in St. James. The Workforce Development Center is a project of the Caribbean Maritime Institute School of Advanced Skills. It provides training in the areas of business solutions, port operations, shipping and logistics, and engineering. Meanwhile, the state-of-the-art eShore Medical Center provides health and wellness services to the rapidly expanding workforce in the Montego Bay Free Zone. Industry State Minister Sharon Folks Abraham says both developments will significantly advance the workforce of the second city.
And it's all about the young people. It's all about reaching out to them. As you know, here in Montego Bay, there's quite a bit of scamming. And it's leading to a lot of problems, including murder and all the rest of it. We have to rid this society of that scourge. And the only way to do it is to give the young people opportunities that are high enough for them to advance properly.
Science and Technology Minister Philip Paulwell is urging stakeholders to take advantage of the opportunities that exist in electronic publishing to produce local e-books. He laments that the ministry was only able to source 50% of the electronic content for the government-issued tablets locally. The ministry spent $114 million procuring e-content for the devices, which were issued to students and educators across the island.
We must seek to explore this potential for wealth and job creation. The Tablets in Schools project is not just about consumption. There is an underlying intent to increase national capacity to develop technologies for management of e-book creation and delivery.
Minister Paulwell was speaking on Monday at the opening ceremony for the Caribbean Digital Publishing Conference, which was organized by Jam Copy. He said that over the years, Jamaica had developed a mature intellectual property protection regime which not only conforms to international best practices, but also addressed matters unique to our culture and developmental requirements. As part of that, the Copyright Act was recently amended and regulations are now being developed.
Efforts to promulgate policies that will offer adequate intellectual property rights protection, stimulate innovation, encourage investment, and generate demand for digital publishing must continue in earnest.
The Youth Ministry is launching an initiative that gives young people access to scholarships to pursue their tertiary education. This initiative, dubbed #Chance2Connect, will be launched online on Monday, November 16. The scholarship guide will be published as an e-book with over 100 scholarships for various levels and specific areas of study. It will be made accessible on the Ministry's Youth Division website, www.youthjamaica.com. It's an initiative of the Youth and Adolescents Policy Division in the Ministry of Youth and Culture and is keeping with the theme for Youth Month, #IamConnected. Portfolio Minister Lisa Hanna says the ministry's goal is to connect young people with educational opportunities, allowing them to maximize on their full potential. And finally, the Jamaican High Commission in Pretoria was awarded the most authentic stall at South Africa's annual diplomatic fair, which was held on the Pretoria Union buildings last Saturday. This award is the second highest of those granted by the organizers. The diplomatic fair is one of the key events on South Africa's calendar. It's held every year to allow the embassies, high commissions, and international organizations based in South Africa to showcase their history, culture, and food, and provide information on trade, investment, and other opportunities in their countries. Jamaica's stall featured product samples and wide-ranging information on Jamaican cuisine, economy, and agriculture production. The High Commission also displayed information on marijuana and the amendment to the Dangerous Drugs Act in an attempt to debunk the myths in South Africa surrounding the role of marijuana in Jamaica. According to the Foreign Affairs Ministry, this achieved the desired result. And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thanks for watching.
The JIS Heritage Essay Competition is here again. If you're a primary or preparatory school student aged 9 to 12, you may enter. Write an essay on the topic, "A Day in the Life of My Favorite National Hero." Ensure your essay is 400 to 500 words. Include a title page and list of references, with JIS being one of the sources. And submit the essay using the application form on the JIS website, jis.gov.jm. Deadline is Saturday, November 7, 2015. So start writing your essay today. For more information, contact the Jamaica Information Service at 926-374-026, extension 2137 or 2023, or email heritageessay@jis.gov.jm. The Ministry of Health is reporting that non-communicable diseases, NCDs, are emerging as the leading cause of deaths among Jamaicans, averaging 70% per year. And to curb this trend, the ministry has been using public education campaigns to promote healthy lifestyle choices. Now, smoking is one of the many activities that will increase a person's risk of dying from a non-communicable disease. Fact is, it's dangerous to your health. Here's why.
We'll always have Paris.
A famous line from a famous movie. Casablanca became a classic film partly because of scenes like that one, depicting Bogart as the strong, handsome, romantic lead, rarely without a cigarette in hand. But a lot has changed since the movie's release in 1942. Billions of dollars have been spent worldwide trying to convince people that smoking is not cool, that it could send you to an early grave. Still, with all the anti-tobacco campaigns, the no smoking please, the bans on smoking in public spaces, the incidence of smoking-related illnesses that are on the increase, more people are dying. It's right there on the box, written in bold. Smoking can be dangerous to your health. But smokers keep on puffing, some several times a day. Doctors, policymakers, and even manufacturers of cigarettes tell us all the time, smoking is damaging to one's health. So why are people still lighting up?
It is true, definitely. Smoking is extremely harmful to health. It is a major cause of illness, disability, and death. It is said that half the persons who smoke on a long-term basis will end up dying from a smoking-related disease. But why do they smoke? Because of the addictiveness of the nicotine in the tobacco, which is used to make the cigarette and the other tobacco products.
Scientists say smoking inhaled from a cigarette contains 40 to 50 substances clinically proven to cause cancer.
Lung cancer is the #1 smoking-related cancer, and would be extrapolated to be #1 cause of death from smoking. But smoking does not only relate to cancer. Smoking also contributes to a whole host of other diseases, such as heart disease, heart attacks, diabetes, hypertension, strokes. All those diseases are adversely affected by smoking.
Say for instance, I'm at a bus stop and you have persons around me smoking. Am I affected?
You may be affected. That's very transient, however, and very short term. So the effect is dose related. So if you have a small dose, the impact on your body, on your health, will be in proportion to the dose that you get. But once you're exposed to tobacco smoke, usually in the form of cigarette smoke, you will have an increased risk of getting some kind of health-related problem.
Treating smoking-related illnesses like lung cancer is expensive. The Ministry of Health says it's putting additional pressure on meager resources. Smokers are often admitted to hospital for illnesses such as pneumonia, asthma, and other breathing disorders. So in light of all this, what's the Ministry of Health doing to address the problem?
The ministry has plans to bring into being this year a smoke-free environment legislation. Our Minister of Health is very much committed to this, and he would like to ban smoking in public places, enclosed spaces, and in spaces where persons gather for sporting or recreational activities.
What would you say to youngsters, adults, or even co-workers who still insist on lighting up even though they have all this information?
We would really like persons to consider the adverse effect that this habit has on them and on their loved ones, and to cease the habit.
Medical experts say if you smoke, you are likely to have a shorter lifespan than a non-smoker, 15 to 20 years less. So let's clear the air, quit the habit, so you can live a longer, healthier life.
Stop smoking around me! Without cigarettes, the world will be much better. Smoking is bad for your health, and when grown-ups smoke around us, we are breathing in their smoke too.
Cigarette smoking is bad for your health and the health of those around you. Don't smoke around children. A message from the Pan American Health Organization.
Understanding diabetes and how to manage it in children and adolescents is the focus of the month-long awareness campaign by the Diabetes Association of Jamaica. Several schools have been participating in screenings and education sessions, with the next one taking place November 9 at Gainstead High School. In the meantime, watch this feature for details on how diabetes can affect your eyes.
Diabetic eye disease is one complication which people with diabetes face. Ophthalmologists say diabetic eye disease can cause severe vision loss or even blindness. Diabetic eye diseases may include diabetic retinopathy, cataracts, or glaucoma. However, you do not have to have diabetes to contract cataracts or glaucoma. Head of the Department of Ophthalmology at the University Hospital of the West Indies, Dr. Donovan Calder, says the most common type of eye disease associated with diabetes is diabetic retinopathy.
Is a condition you see in the eyes of diabetic patients where they have abnormalities of the small blood vessels. It's a manifestation of these abnormalities that we call retinopathy. It involves occlusion of the small blood vessels, it involves leaking of the small blood vessels, and it involves abnormal growth of blood vessels in the eye. The abnormalities of the blood vessels results in leaking, which is seen when we look in the eye as bleeding. You may find what we call exudates, which are lipoproteins or fat in the blood, which accumulates in the retina. We may see thickening of the retina, so because there's fluid leaking into the retina like a sponge, it gets thicker. You may see areas where there is no circulation because the blood vessels have blocked off. And if it is severe enough, you then see abnormal blood vessels growing. Now, all of this process of leaking and abnormal blood vessel growth we call retinopathy.
Dr. Calder pointed out that anyone with diabetes is at risk of having diabetic retinopathy. The longer a person has diabetes, the more likely it becomes that he or she will develop this complication. Nearly half of all people with diabetes will develop some degree of diabetic retinopathy during their lifetime. Experts say diabetic retinopathy may also be a problem for women who have diabetes during pregnancy.
In pregnancy, there are several changes in the body of the woman induced by hormones, because she has certain hormonal changes which has to maintain the fetus, the placenta, and there are also changes in the fetus which affects the mother. For instance, you'll hear if the mother is having a boy, you can tell because the boy's hormones, which makes him male, are different to those of the girls, so the features of the mother will differ. Well, these hormonal changes in the mother affects her blood vessels. She may also tend to be hypertensive. And all of these changes can have an effect on the small blood vessels in the eye, which may result in worsening of her retinopathy. So it's important to monitor the eyes of women who are planning pregnancy and who are pregnant, because you can find a worsening during pregnancy and it tends to improve once the pregnancy is over. But you may need to treat these patients during pregnancy.
Ophthalmologists say there may be no symptoms of diabetic retinopathy in the early stages of the disease. Vision may not change and there may not be pain in the eyes until the disease progresses.
Quite often the patients they're not aware that this is happening unless it affects a certain critical part of the retina we call the macula. So it's a central part of the retina that makes you see fine detail, fine print. If this area is involved, then the person will notice a diminution or a decrease in vision. In the case of the proliferation, where there are blood vessels growing, again, the person may not be aware of this until there is bleeding or a retinal detachment occurs. And quite often it has to involve the macula before the person is even aware.
However, some of the likely symptoms related to diabetic retinopathy include fluctuating and blurring of vision, making it hard to read and drive, intermittent double vision, loss of peripheral vision, and flashes and floaters within the eyes. Since the disease has no symptoms at the early stage, Dr. Calder says diabetic patients can only detect diabetic retinopathy during an eye examination.
The JIS Heritage Poster Competition is here again. If you are an artistic teenager, the JIS Heritage Poster Competition is just for you. All registered secondary school students are eligible to enter. All you have to do is this: complete the entry form on the JIS website, jis.gov.jm. Then create a poster using images provided in the picture resources on the JIS website. And the topic: a moment in the life of a Jamaican national hero. Ensure that your poster is no larger than 11 inches by 17 inches and keep a copy of your poster. Posters will be judged on interpretation of the topic, originality, and presentation. Now for the submission details. Upload computer-designed posters using a cloud storage service such as Dropbox, SkyDrive, or Google Drive. Mail or drop off illustrated posters at the JIS head office or Montego Bay office. Deadline for submission is Saturday, November 7, 2015. So come on, unleash your creativity and win lots of prizes. For more information, contact the Jamaica Information Service at 926-374-026, extension 2137-2023, or email heritageposter@jis.gov.jm.
November isn't just about diabetes awareness. It's also being observed as Science and Technology Month. Up next, let's see how advancements in technology has enabled us to accurately forecast the weather.
Of course, all eyes are on Hurricane Ivan at this time, where we see that we are on the outer fringe of the system. Some of the bands are spilling some showers over the Jamaica area. Just a warning that this thing is actually coming across the area.
A television broadcast of national importance. A critical prediction that possibly saved lives and property. A prediction that came at the end of a process that began with some pretty sophisticated technology.
Weather forecasting is trying to determine the changes in the atmosphere.
Several methods are applied to gather weather data, from simple observation.
It's critical to assess the clouds because the cloud is one of the most important elements of determining a forecast.
To the use of satellites, radars, buoys, and weather aircraft. Forecasters from around the world share information generated by advanced computer software and remote sensing equipment, such as this automatic weather station. Working together, data is synchronized or matched, making it possible to predict the weather from virtually anywhere in the world. Weather collecting devices like buoys, which are equipped with special sensors and networked to computer software, are strategically placed and anchored along the seas or left to drift in response to ocean currents and winds. These networks of buoys provide forecasters with hourly updates on marine measurements related to wind conditions, barometric pressure, air and sea surface temperatures, as well as wave data. The Doppler radar is another useful tool. Radar stands for radio detection and ranging, and it works based on a series of principles named for Austrian physicist Johann Christian Doppler. This sophisticated instrument allows forecasters to monitor the speed and direction of severe weather systems. Data from all sources are fed to central points for analysis and comparison, and are shared all over the world.
In doing that, we are able to produce what we call a synoptic chart. In producing this chart, it gives us a picture of what is happening across Jamaica and the region. Region here meaning the Caribbean area. After we do that, then we also look at what we call weather prediction models. These models enable us to determine what is going to happen in the future. What we do with the model is that we make an analysis of the model and we make a comparison between the model forecast and what we had done on the synoptic chart.
At this stage, a determination can be made as to what will happen over the next 12 to 24 hours with an outlook for up to 5 days.
In looking at the information, then we determine what the features are and what the influence of these features would be across Jamaica, which would indicate if the day is going to be cloudy, if it's going to be fair, or we expect showers, thunderstorm, or a very windy day.
From the more urgent situations such as an approaching hurricane to the less crucial, like where to go for a sunny vacation, news on the weather is always useful. And very important for fishermen and others who must navigate the seas for a living.
We also issue marine products, so persons who are going out to sea would know what the conditions will be across the seas. We have aviation products that are issued specifically to aviation users that would enable them to make a safe flight.
This is a live feed from the runway. So all the information that is displayed here is what's happening currently on the runway, and this is what is critical to all the airlines.
Information on climatic conditions is also provided to farmers and persons in construction, as well as those doing research on the environment. So the next time you see this,
some scattered shower activity over some coastal areas on the northern side of the island.
Remember, weather prediction isn't a guessing game. It's a scientific process involving sophisticated technology, providing useful information for industry, for research, for disaster management, and for life.
All residents immediately evacuate the area.
Householders, business people, school administrators, be on the alert. Help control the mosquito population. Destroy breeding sites. Empty old tires and all other containers where water can settle. Bore holes in old cans. Cover water drums and garbage cans. Wash flower pots and vases and clean pet dishes regularly. Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Cover your body as much as possible and use mosquito repellent containing DEET.
Our 30 minutes are up, but not to worry, we have another show lined up for you tomorrow. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm, and keep sending your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the production crew, I'm Kerry Ann Smith. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.